Ryan takes you through some problems in his business in this episode, and what you'll find is there is an opportunity hidden in every problem you unravel as an entrepreneur. This one problem was turned into a new income producing opportunity that actually generated £20,000 or saved a deal worth around 20k. When you look past the problem to find a solution, that's usually where the treasure is hidden. Many people give up too soon and never find the treasure if they just went one step further. Does that make sense? Let me know what you think of this episode by leaving Ryan a review.
I just want to share with you guys a problem that I'm faced with right now, okay? Right now I'm faced with a problem. Before the lockdown, way before the lockdown, the end of last year, I had a group of tenants that came to view one of our properties. They agreed to rent the property. Because they're students, they wanted to rent it from this year, actually the 1st of September. So as you guys will know, or if you don't know, students go shopping for properties early. I've never known anybody to go shopping for properties as early as students do, okay? So the students, they found and viewed the property with my team last year, 2019, paid the deposit for the property, and then they had a date where they had to pay all of the money by, which is coming up on the 24th of August, before they move in on the 1st of September, okay? Now, the lockdown happened. And then the tenants were unsure if they were coming because they were students. They've obviously paid a deposit. They would lose their deposit, or it would be my company's discretion to decide because of the circumstances. They're coming from overseas, somewhere else in the world. It would have been my company's discretion to say, actually, excuse me, I'm yawning. I understand with the problems that are happening in the world, and I could have waived it, or waived some of it, or delayed it, or deferred it, or something like that. That's entirely up to you. Now, they were coming, then they weren't coming, then they were coming, then they weren't coming, then this went up and down and changed, and they were, then they weren't. In the meantime, we rent those properties back to back. So the date this group is moving in on the 1st of September, we obviously have short-term guests in the property through the summer. Now, the earlier guest was due to move out on a certain date, which was around about July. Then they asked to extend the property for 4 months, and we said no, we couldn't, because somebody else wanted to move in on the 1st of September, which was about, 7 weeks into their new term, but they wanted 16 weeks, so it couldn't work. And then we didn't hear anything at all from the original tenants. Nothing. No replies to emails. No replies to phone calls. No replies to text messages. Even the WhatsApp message was no longer being delivered. Okay, this is about 2 months ago. So our thoughts, our opinion, our assumptions were, maybe they're just embarrassed. Maybe they don't want to have these conversations. Maybe they know they can't come and they're just going to forfeit the deposit, not communicate with us, completely disappear, not arrive on the 1st of September. Now, that's what does happen sometimes with tenants. It does happen with students. Sometimes people do just get embarrassed and decide that they're not going to communicate for whatever reason. They're not going to turn up, they're not going to come, they're too shy, or they're too embarrassed, or there's a multitude of reasons or insecurities that they decide to not even communicate and just forfeit their deposit that they've paid. That's fine, whatever they decide. We're not here to judge. Let me ask you a question. Are you and your family prepared for when the economy crashes and your bank balance goes to zero? In the aftermath of the 2008 property crash, I held a keynote talk in Piccadilly around property investment tactics that work when the economy crashes. And these tactics saved me in the 2008 crash. Let me share them with you real quickly. The first one is buying properties for £1 without getting a mortgage, without putting a deposit down, and without any credit whatsoever. The next strategy is finding properties with £25,000 to £50,000 of instant equity. The next strategy is buying a property today and paying for the property later when it's worth more, a lot more in the future. The next strategy is renting HMOs and student properties and any properties up to 75% below the market rent. This gives you massive cash flow right now. And then the next strategy is raising from £4,000 to £14,000 from properties that you just rent. This can be used as get started cash for whatever you want in your business. Now, I created a free training to walk you through the only strategies that will save your bank balance from going to zero. I'm serious. If you just go to www.propertycrashcourse.com and tell me where to send this free training. Anyway, so time went by, didn't hear nothing, sent a few reminders, a few emails, a few text messages, are you coming, etc. Is everything okay? Hope you're alright, your family, nothing. Even the WhatsApp message was no longer being delivered. 2-3 months later, there's still only one tick. It has not been delivered, okay? So, what does that mean? Well, the assumption is what that means is they're not coming. So the person in the property, the same property, wants to extend for 4 months, which would overlap by about 8 weeks into the original deal if the original people came, but they haven't communicated. So, we extend the property for 4 months for the other person who's already there. This now flows over to something like, I don't know, the first week in October. The people are due to arrive in on the 1st of September. And then what happens? Late last night, what happens? A text message on WhatsApp from a brand new number. And it reads something along the lines of, let me have a quick look. I'll actually read it out to you. The first message from a new number, it says, "Hi, it looks like our school is now open again and we are both available to attend. My flight's been cancelled, so we're now looking for alternative airlines to get there. We should be able to get there for the year as planned." Okay? Now, that was last night, very late. Let me do a search for the last message. How long we haven't spoken to them for. Okay. June, the 12th of June was the last time we had any communication. Sorry, it wasn't. It was the 16th of May, in the lockdown, in the pandemic. The 16th of May, where they was uncertain. They wasn't really sure if it's going to be happening. Are they coming? Are they not coming? We didn't really know if it's going to work out. They was unsure whether they're going to get here, whether they're going to make it. And then we heard nothing. Nothing from them at all. Absolutely nothing. So that's in May. We're talking to them again in June and July and August, contacting them, and we don't hear anything back. So it looks like they're not coming. And then last night, oh my God, last night, the message that read they're coming. So we've already extended the person in there on an AST, which overlaps this deal by about 2 months. So the people are still coming. They've just told us. So we have a new problem upon us today. Now, luckily, because we have multiple properties, all that's going to happen is, without worrying the people too much before they get here, when they land in the UK, we'll let them know that because we didn't hear from them for so long, and we made assumptions and didn't hear, and we had to plan ahead, and they hadn't obviously paid or committed and paid the balance of the money by a certain date, etc., etc., etc. We've extended the contract with the person in the property. So what we'll try and do is see if the person in the property is happy to be released early, maybe move into another property or maybe cancel their contract. If not, we will just relocate the guests into another property we've got for 7 or 8 weeks, however long it will be. Hopefully they're happy, but I think they will be in the reality of the COVID and not communicating with us since May. So that's June, that's July, that's August. 3 months just arrive and turning up and saying, "Hey, we're on the next flight. We'll see you on the 1st. We'll see you tomorrow," okay? So we're going to put them somewhere else for a very, very short period into another property and then move them into that house.
Make sure you've subscribed, because on Monday you'll get Mastermind on Mondays. Every Monday at 10 a.m, Ryan hosts a live mastermind session in the Facebook community group called the Property Crash Course. Get your burning questions answered around business, entrepreneurship, property investment, and more. Just post your question, problem, or challenge in the community group and tune into the live show called Mastermind on Mondays at 10 a.m.
So this is just like a housing business. It's like a chain. Somebody's buying, somebody's selling, somebody's moving in, somebody's moving out. That sale is dependent on this sale. That purchase, they need the money which is dependent on that transaction, that sale over there. And this person is entering the ladder. It's literally a ladder. Everyone's on a ladder and everything's back to back. We haven't got any voids, or not really as such voids, waiting for tenants. We've got them back to back, back to back, back to back. One's out, deep cleaners go in, new set of tenants move in. We've got them signed up weeks, months, even a year in advance. Like I just showed you, this particular deal. Last year they view it, 2019. Pay all the money, or pay the deposit, sign the contracts, etc., to move in on the 1st of September the year later. So we're doing these deals way in advance. Deals in 2019 for people to move in 2020. Okay, so this is just a typical day in our business with the problems, the challenges, and the opportunities that this creates every single day. I hope you're unraveling these complex problems, because what we found is the more complex the problem is, the more opportunities that we find in that particular deal. And the same thing again, the more problems that we come across in business, it just gives you this like resilience. It gives you this confidence. It gives you this security that doesn't matter what they throw at us. It doesn't matter what happens today, tomorrow, next week, next year. It doesn't matter about COVID. We will pivot, we will adapt, and we'll find a way through it and to make everybody happy. That's just part of what being an entrepreneur is. I hope you got some value from this episode. I would love to hear your thoughts. Right now I'm going back upstairs. I ordered some food in the hotel, popped outside, jumped in the Bentley, recording this episode so it keeps my podcast manager happy. And yeah, boom. I hope you get some value from this episode. I would love to hear your thoughts.
He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a fuck. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all